Hello. Yes. Welcome. Episode 24 of Catching Up with Franco. It is I, your host, Franco. Although technically I don't even know if that's a thing. Am I a host? I don't know. I'm just here. Technically, if the host is anyone, it's Wayne, because Wayne is commenting or corralling the comments and doing most of the driving. I'm just sitting here drawing. But tonight, we have with us a very special guest, writer, artist, just all-around smooth, cool guy, JAMAR Nicholas. How are you, sir?
Oh, yeah,
there
man.
He is. Hey, how are you, sir?
Oh, yeah, Franco.
How's it going, sir?
Yo, man, I'm fantastic. How are you? How are you both? Hey, Wayne, how are you?
Doing great.
Oh, that's great.
I feel like I need to change my name to Garth. I kind of do.
Party on,
Party
Franco.
on.
Right?
Party on, Franco. That's right.
I do. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. I'm about to do something now that I forgot to do the last show with Tom Zoller. So go to tomzoller.com to check out all things Tom Zoller. But I forgot to put the scroll up so that you could go to Jamar's website and stuff like that and talk to Jamar and buy some cool things from him on his Instagrams and Twitters and stuff.
All the Instagrams. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you, my friend? Things good?
Yeah, besides my dog barking.
Because
this is live. That's exactly how this works.
But life happens, so it's all good. It's all good. I'll
Yeah.
switch us to this so everybody could see us a little bit. Nobody needs to be that close to my face. Is the way I view it.
No, man, I'm good. Just transitioning from the summer to the fall, it seems.
Yeah.
I've always had. I'm one of those cartoonists that has a day job. You know what that's like, Franco.
I do. Unfortunately, I do.
And I always have worked in academia, so I work at a university. So my year.
See, I work at a high school. You work in a university, so automatically that makes you smarter than me. Right there.
I don't know.
You're
man.
of higher education, so that makes you smarter than me.
The jury's out on that, But I kind of look at the calendar year through semesters and things like that. So it's kind of like fall, spring, summer 2, summer 3.
Right.
Here we are.
Do you get a summer vacation as I do, or is it not really a summer vacation for you?
No, not exactly, but kind of the way it works out is that I do the bulk of my heavy lifting during the school semester, and it's been very weird because of COVID, and there's been a lot of remote working, and trying to teach a class in 2 places is weird. It's a whole new world.
Yeah. Speaking of a whole new world, Wayne, hi, how are you? Things good?
Yeah, things are great. Everything's lovely here in hot Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right. Wayne is in a whole new world today. Usually he comes to us from bright, sunny, frozen over Canada, but today he's coming to us from Death Valley in Nevada, apparently.
Death Valley, home of the Delta variant.
Yeah.
Well, also the Undertaker was from Death Valley, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. I can be Paul Bearer.
You're getting into wrestling now. Before we get into all the specifics of this,
yes.
I want to warn all viewers and you as well that our topics. I always put a couple of topics up because the reason this show is called Catching Up is because I don't get to see things because I'm always working. So I try to catch up with things and I try and stay on top of things, which doesn't always happen. So, I like to watch some stuff if I can because it forces me to watch stuff. So I watched What If and I watched The Suicide Squad. So I put those up as topics that we could talk about. We do not have to stick to those topics because we may veer off topic, and we generally often do. But it's okay. We'll try to get back to those. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. What are you going to do?
Right.
But but as always, if we do talk about those things, there will be spoilers. So we will talk spoilers. So don't be afraid to spoil because we're saying now spoilers. Okay.
All right. Spoiler alert. Got it.
Yeah.
Do I have to infer that I'm going to spoil, or can I just spoil?
No, you just spoil. Spoil fruit. Spoil the show. Spoil whatever you want.
Spoil sports.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to draw as we talk, and you can draw if you would like. There is no pressure at all because I'm not a pressure guy, never have been.
No.
So I'm going to draw stuff. I'm going to put you at the top, and I'm going to put Wayne down at the bottom here, and then we will discuss things, life, general, all the things. Very
cool.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me, you guys. I'm really excited to be here tonight.
Well, thank you for being here. We usually do this at a late hour, and I'm always appreciative of people that come on and talk to us. And let's start out with Wayne and see if he's got anything from comments that he's corralling.
My brother wanted to know, how is Vegas? Hot. It's very simple.
There you go.
Hot.
See?
Julian Lopez wanted to know, is saying greetings from Florida.
Hi from Florida. Since
J. Robert Dean.
This is for Wayne because he's out in Vegas at the Star Trek convention, so this is for Wayne.
Like that.
Yeah.
And J. Robert Dean's, good evening, gentlemen. How is everybody?
Doing well, thank you, sir. How are you?
And he also says, Captain Scholastic, what's up?
That's one of my nicknames. What's up,
Captain
JRD?
Scholastic? Yeah,
I
love that.
Right.
Is that because you work at the university? Is that why?
No, because I have a book deal with Scholastic Graphics. That's what
nice. Oh, are we allowed to spoil what that is, or?
Oh, sure. It's I'm already writing the second book.
Nice.
Coming next year, this is the beginning of my cycle. Have a series at Scholastic with my Leon property. Nice. So Leon the Extraordinary will be launching in spring 2022.
Nice. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it. I'm going to have to get those.
Yeah, you got to cop those.
Yeah. So I'm going to draw some, speaking of Suicide Squad, I'm going to draw some Suicide Squad. I drew some King Shark and some Ratcatcher earlier last week, but I decided I'm going to draw a more in-depth piece. So that's what I'm going to draw while we're talking. So
very, very cool.
Yeah.
And can I interview Franco also while we're at it? Because I know it's a lot of brain thrust to try to draw and talk and interview. So I can take some pressure off.
Are you saying that I can't do two things at once? Is that?
Oh no, not at all.
Because you'd be absolutely correct, but I just the accusation just hurts because it's true.
no, I just I just like to
Why do you think I have Wayne here? I can't handle anything. I don't know what I'm doing.
I can answer for Franco.
Okay, oh, I like that. As I spend so much time hosting stuff, it's hard for me to turn it off.
Oh yeah, do it.
Yeah.
You should mention what you host because I was on your show.
Yeah.
Like a year ago now already?
Wow. Yeah, it was about that time. Yeah, you and Art were on my podcast, Pencil to Pencil, that I do with comic book legends Mike Manley and Brett Blevins.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Those guys are awesome, cool creators. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm. The coolest. Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and it was almost a year ago. It was probably like May last year. It was a while ago. Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna have to have you back on.
Anytime, you know that.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Yeah, but yeah, I spend so much time kind of like talking and hosting things that when I get interviewed, it's hard for me to just answer questions. I ask a lot of questions. So
I don't mind. Yeah, you just go for it. People are sick and tired of hearing about me, though. You're the guest on the show. You should, as long as you talk about yourself every once in a while, it's good.
Yeah, I'll pop my suspenders and.
Yeah. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah.
J. Robert Dean says it'd be easier to mention what Jamar doesn't host.
Oh, JRD, thanks for stopping by. But
I was gonna say this show, but apparently he's about to host this one, so that works.
I was catching up with Franco.
Yeah.
But no, I have a couple other things. So I do a coffee break with JN, which is
I like coffee break.
You like coffee break? That's I did one last night. It's Thursdays at 9 p.m. EST, where I take a break from the studio chair and I pop on, and there's a gimmick to it. I think you guys will enjoy this.
I like it. Yeah.
So I am going to drink a cup of coffee and run my mouth, and when the coffee is gone, I turn the video off.
That's right. So it could be at any time. You could be like really thirsty, just like one back, 3 minutes, you're done.
It's a wrap. Right.
Nice.
Yeah. And you have a really cool community of people loyal people that come by every week to check that out.
Nice.
And I also have a Patreon video thing I do with comic book artist Mike Hawthorne. Have you ever met Mike, Franco?
I have not, I don't think. I may have, but ask Wayne, I'm notoriously bad with names. I'm better with faces. So if you came up with Mike Hawthorne and said, this is him, and I'm like, oh, I know that guy. But if you mentioned his name, if you mentioned his name, I'm like, I don't know who that is.
I'll press him up to the glass. Franco, this is the guy. He's right
I'm
here.
holding him hostage in my house right now.
Oh, speaking of glass, when you here at the show, if you're doing any photos with the celebrities, you have a little bit of plexiglass between you and them about this thick.
Really? There's like a plexi screen.
There's this divider between you and them.
So like it's a bulletproof.
Basically, I'm expecting this is like in the line of duty that a bullet will not pass through that plexiglass.
Wow.
So now I'm thinking that what they did here with you guys is they just put the plexiglass up, but they missed a golden opportunity, right? Because in Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, right? They put that, Spock went in there and he died for our sins, basically. Yes. But he was behind that partition, and they could have recreated that partition and put those Star Trek people behind it and had that photo op.
They could have.
That would have been cool.
That would involve forward thinking.
Right. Yeah. Not much of us have that, though.
No.
Yeah.
So, Wayne, has that turned... I mean, I guess you weren't expecting that experience when you came.
No, we were warned in advance that because of Nevada's new COVID protocols, that there may be that, as they describe it, thin piece of plexiglass between you and the celebrity, that it's a possibility. And it's also, they may have requested it for their own particular safety.
Oh, so are there some people that don't have the plexi sheet?
Oh no, you have everything. Even when you're going for a signature, they got it's almost like going to a bank teller where there's this little slit and you put your little photograph through and they sign it and it comes back to you.
Wow, that's just like getting chicken wings in a hood. It's the same thing. You slide your money under the thing, and then they turn the lazy Susan and put the chicken.
Talk to Art about Harold's chicken, and that's exactly what it's like. Yeah,
yeah, it's an interesting situation. Everyone's masked up.
Yeah,
we all have special bands. So mine's orange, meaning I'm double vaccinated. So I have my 2 doses of approved vaccine. I believe yellow was only 1 vaccine or none at all. And if you didn't have 2 vaccines, you have to be tested every 3rd day and have a negative test to be able to come into the show.
Okay. So again, a missed opportunity here. Okay. So depending on Pfizer or Moderna or unvaccinated or like Johnson & Johnson or 1 vaccine or no vaccine, you could have dressed these people up as different aliens, and then they could have been shunned by the other groups as they walk around the promenade.
Shame.
Yeah. So
just like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So like the Bajorans, you don't want them anywhere near because they're the unvaccinated, and the Cardassian. You know what I mean? You could have done something. Again, not forward thinking. They should put Jamar and me in charge of this thing. Why haven't they?
We should just be czars of comics. How's that sound? We'll be con czars. We'll do everything. We'll do the duck decoy convention. We'll go to the car show.
Hold it, for duck decoy, we'll really have to grow the beards.
Oh yeah,
like you're almost there. You're getting there. I have to just let it go.
Yeah, I'm working on my.
I already got the hat going, so I think I'm set.
Yeah, that's crazy. I used to have this diatribe about convention, like comic book conventions, and how if you left the Javits Center for the comic book show and went back the next week, there'd be another convention there.
Right.
Just with, it's the same exact thing. It's just the people may be slightly different. So just trying to show that there's some commonality with all fandoms.
Have you ever been to another show at like one of these big conventions, like say the Javits Center, after you've been to a comic convention? Like, because I've been to some, like, because I, for whatever reason, I've happened to be there, and people are very well dressed, suit and ties, and they have like these meeting tables, and it's nothing like a comic convention, which always wigged me out. The
not at
conventions
all.
are definitely much different than any other conventions you go to.
Yeah, it's very true. Like if you've ever gone to kind of like a office supply convention, like whatever, you can think of it, and they have it. But usually those type of business people are like wearing, suits, and nobody's throwing money around because everything's already, like, you probably paid $5,000 for your badge.
Yeah.
And you go around and do business and shake hands and drink out of thermoses. And
see, but
if
I was in charge of office supply conventions, I would. Why are you laughing? I haven't even said what I was going to say.
My bad. Continue.
I was going to say I would make like a grand prize available for the one guy that found a red stapler. In the and then he'd have to pick it up and walk around with it and say, "It's my stapler, and he would win.
I just watched Office.
Really, you just watched
Office
it?
Space.
Office Space recently. Yeah, where my stapler.
My stapler. Right. See. So I'm glad I told the joke because Wayne got the reference. That's all I need. It's just one person to get the reference.
And then he burns down the office. That was it. The cake was the last straw.
Spoiler. We didn't say that we were going to talk about Office Space. See what happened?
PC load letter. I love it.
Funny stuff.
Yeah.
Before we sort of go too far, Julian Lopez says, Mike Hawthorne is my all-time favorite artist, making Spider-Man comics a whole lot interesting.
Thank you, Julian. Yeah. I'll make sure that Mike knows that. But also in some news, I'm like on Mike's PR team or something. He just left Marvel. He's doing Wonder Woman now. They just announced that.
Oh wow!
I think yesterday. So
is he allowed to do that? Or is he? I don't know. Did he get our permission? Because we seem to be the judge and jury of everything now. We've deemed it.
No, he's legit.
Oh, okay, so he ran it through you. That's good.
Yeah. He vetted through my my 10-step system.
Nice.
So he's good to go. But yeah, with the convention stuff, it's like, you're right, Franco. It's like it's a totally different animal, and the price that we pay to set up at a comic book convention, though there is a cost to it, it's totally different with other industries.
Mm-hmm.
Are you suggesting it's your soul?
I think I've already sold mine, so yeah.
Possibly, yeah. So I remember here in Philly, there was it the Keystone Comic Con? That's one of the Reed Pop shows. And they have like a big digital billboard, and it was like, this weekend, Keystone Comic Con, next weekend, the ophthalmologist convention. Yeah.
They should have had that before the Comic Con so people could read.
Well,
I would have missed opportunity.
In the same vein, J. Robert Deans also said a few years ago at the Charlotte Convention Center held two shows at the same time, making a very interesting weekend: Heroes Con and the North Carolina Republican Convention.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you know what? That was definitely a thing in Philly. I've been by there where there may be 3 or 4 things happening at the same time. They just pointed you to a different entrance. You know, I think there was like the hair show, which was going on. I thought that was going to pop you. The hair show happened. And
there was one time in Chicago at a Wizard World. I believe it was at the Rosemont Center.
Yeah.
The whole thing was taken up with the comic show, but at one of the hotels across the street was like a Beatles convention, like a fan convention, and they would have all these different bands, Beatles tribute bands, but they would be dressed from the different era. Like they'd have the early '60s slim suit one. They have the Sgt. Pepper's one. Yeah. So I remember that. Not that I condone this at all, and not that I was absolutely drunk, because I was, but we ran around the hotel the entire time because I didn't know this was going on, and then you run it. Oh, you're like, oh my God, it's the Beatles. And then wait, oh my God, it's the Beatles. Oh wait, no, it's the Beatles again. So I got this bright idea with Art. We would run around and just run up to the different groups, and in an English accent, we just say, "Which one of you is Ringo?" And then ultimately Ringo would say, "I'm Ringo," and we'd say, "Hello, Ringo," and then run away to the next band. And we just thought that was infinitely amusing. So,
that's fantastic.
Now that I'm saying it out loud, it's infinitely stupid, but to us it was infinitely amusing at the time. So
well, that sounds like something that would be a really cool, I don't know, warehouse costume party. You come as what era of the Beatles, and
right?
Then have a gang war in the middle of the place.
Instead of the Sharks or the Jets, it's going to be which era of Beatles band is it?
yeah, I'd be into that. That'd be great.
Hey man, you got a ticket to ride? You'd be doing stuff like that.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Oh boy. I don't know, Wayne. What are people saying? Anything? Nothing?
Nothing about cons, but we do have a Suicide Squad question, but I think I'll hold that one off till later until we get to the Suicide Squad. Simon Walterson says, "Franco, you're the bestest."
Oh, thanks. Thanks,
and
Simon.
Speaking of conventions, did you guys hear that Informa bought Wizard World?
Fan Expo bought it out, right?
Yeah, who owns Informa owns Fan Expo.
Wow.
Now, I get a text early morning when the announcement came from somebody we all know going, "Hey, do you have any contacts at Fan Expo?" So I gave the person the name that I know.
That's a crappy thing to do and out me out on the show like that.
Man, I'm so
asking
sorry.
Confidence.
Oh,
where's the love?
Darn. Hey, I didn't mention your name. I thought I was doing good. I said a person.
So basically, see, that's where you went wrong, because I'm not technically a person. So,
okay. But yeah, it was and then I was also asked when I met with one of the people working with the creation, saying, "Wayne, did you hear that Informa bought Wizard World?" And going, "Yeah, I just found out. I got a text trying to help somebody out to find contacts."
Man.
Wow.
Well, they have your contact number, and they know where Jamar and I are, so they can contact us, and we can figure stuff out for them.
Yeah, that's right. So, and they're just keeping the same kind of calendar schedule as Wizard World was, right? Or are they changing things around?
Well, they're rebranding them as Fan Expo. Insert name of city.
Okay, gotcha. It's Fan Expo, Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
Right. Fan Expo, Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Dubuque, Iowa.
Yeah. Right.
It's like those commercials with Garth and Wayne. Yes, I got food from.
Wow. Well, you know what? I don't know. Wizard seemed like it served its purpose, and people were kind of over it. Yep. So we'll see. We'll see what these cats can do. How do you guys feel about? Well, I mean, I can't speak for Wayne because Wayne's already at a con. But how do you guys feel about kind of reintegrating it back into con travel? And maybe Wayne, we could start with you.
You could start with Franco because he came back from a con.
Oh, you were at Terrificon last weekend. Right?
I was. Yeah.
How was it? Was it terrific?
It was terrific. I love Mitch's show. And you know what? We're gonna have to have you up there because I help him out putting the kids section together, and we didn't have a kids section this year for obvious reasons. Yeah. But we definitely, I'd love to have you up there, especially with your book coming out next year.
Yeah,
but
that's what's up.
yeah, but it was kind of fun to be back. But I'm like real paranoid, so I kept my mask on the entire time. And not just in the convention, but in the casino itself, because it's held at Mohegan Sun Casino at the Expo Center there.
Yeah.
There were a lot of kids that were under 12 that were unmasked and running around, and it was a little frightening, a little bit in that sense. But myself and my wife came up to help out. We had our mask on the whole time, and you just we're vaccinated, so but with these variants going on, I don't know what to think of it anymore. I was just telling Wayne before the show started that Mohegan Sun is one thing, but going to Vegas and all the people there is another thing in my mind. So I was asking him are there people there before, because he's been to this convention a couple of times, and I was asking him what the population seemed to be like at this thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, just thinking about Wayne being in Vegas and at the Mohegan, are people just gambling like normal? They're just wearing masks.
They're gambling like normal, wearing masks. You're only allowed to take your mask off if you're puffing on your cigarette that you require, besides your oxygen tank. And
why don't they just put a little hole in their mask for the cigarette?
The oxygen mask holes, yeah.
Yeah, no, they have to keep their masks on at all times unless they're smoking or drinking or eating.
Well, isn't that the whole purpose of Vegas? Smoking or eating or drinking is the whole thing.
That's right.
So,
yeah, but only half the restaurants are open in the hotel, and they're open for limited number of hours.
Yeah,
that's wild. And is there more Are there more hand sanitizing stations?
Hand sanitizers are all over the place. I have bags of these one-step disinfectant wipes plus Purell.
Okay. So the one steps are kind of like emergency, glow sticks. You break it,
wipe it down. Well, when I got on the airplane, so they had this big box, big plastic container of Clorox wipes. This is for your seat. This is for your seat. This is for your seat. You can wipe it down yourself.
Wow. So they gave you one sheet.
One sheet.
Is it dripping wet while you're walking down?
Yes, it is.
You would think the flight attendant would hand it to you while I guess you're already in the seat, so you can't wipe it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, here's another question, and maybe it's kind of spicy, but I've been seeing a lot of.
I don't like spicy, by the way, but go ahead.
I've been seeing a lot of reports about people being agitated travelers, right? You keep seeing these videos of somebody losing their mind and punching out the flight attendant. And I saw the one where they duct taped the guy to his seat in one of the airline flights because he just whatever the flight attendants told him, he didn't like it. So everybody's losing, they're going insane.
Right.
So do you? And I'll ask Wayne because you've been traveling. I guess I'm assuming you didn't drive to Las Vegas.
I flew to Chicago about a month ago.
I haven't been on an airplane since the pandemic started. How was that experience for you guys?
For me, it was just weird. Everybody masked on the whole time. Wiping things down. Everybody seemed compliant. So I, just flying again after so long was weird. Yeah. And then the mask thing was weird, but I don't know about Wayne's experience.
Just wearing the mask. And for me, again, I was in a plane with basically mostly Canadians, so we're all pretty much polite to begin with.
That's true.
So you're not going to hear a lot of complaints.
Right.
But what I found was, I found it a very, very long flight between Toronto and Vegas. It felt like flying to Europe.
Really?
It just and the guy beside me is going, man, because he got back from London not too long ago. He's saying, geez, this is just like flying to Europe. Because you're at hour 3 and you're just getting edgy. Okay, I'd like to get off this.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of mountains. I don't think this is a good spot.
So there's that. I think that anxiety that I was kind of alluding to, that people are just, whatever type of patience people used to have is gone, right?
Yep.
So everybody's just on edge already. So wow, like, how do you make that better?
I would think just be nice to people. What does it cost you to be nice? You know, like people are going through the same thing you're going through. I never understood people that just kind of like lost it. And I will have to say that I've gotten better with this as I've gotten older. I would kind of like, you know, lose it sometimes when I was younger, but you know, that's things you learn to control as you get older. I don't know. I don't know. It's sad. It's sad to see, you know.
You know, J. Robert Deans brings up a good point. Who wipes down the comfort animals that come on board?
Oh man, you know what? Have you ever traveled with an animal? Like, have you ever put Fluffy in the wing?
Besides me, no, I have not traveled with them.
I have sat beside people with animals.
How was that experience?
Interesting.
Yeah,
because they have to keep the animal in the little bag.
Oh, like in the to-go container, right?
Yeah, basically that. To-go container with holes.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they have a diaper pad on there so that the animal could take care of whatever it needs to take care of during the flight.
Do they have matching ones for the human too?
They could.
Hey, I think
you know what? Everyone thought the Cabbage Patch Kid was a crazy idea. Now you can have matching sanitary napkins of sorts.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about traveling with. I don't know. I think if I had to put my poodle in the overhead compartment, I just wouldn't go.
No, they don't go in the overhead. They go underneath the seat.
Yeah.
But because you need the overhead is for.
Yes.
It's either the lighter or the heavier. I don't know. I usually put everything up there.
Yeah, but if it's a certain size animal, then it goes into the seat. If not, it has to go in baggage claim.
I couldn't do that to my dog. I couldn't put my dog in baggage claim. He'd be a mess.
Yeah.
And I would be constantly worrying about the dog the whole flight.
Well, you saw what happened with Samuel L. Jackson with Snakes on a Plane. You do not want to put anything in baggage.
Right.
Well, I remember before.
What is it with all these MF and poodles on this MF and plane?
Exactly.
Well, you know, I was thinking about, you know, there was a couple of cases, I think before the pandemic, where some people were like suing the airline because when they got to their destination, their animal was dead or something like that. You know, it's just that seems just traumatic.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, on a brighter note.
Yeah. Well, way to break us down there, Jamar. It's good topic.
You know, again, Jane Robert Dean's coming up with some classic ones. Well, that went weird. Definitely going to think twice next time I'm offered coleslaw.
Yeah.
Franco, how's your drawing coming?
Well, it's doing all right. Here, I'll give you a closer look. I don't know. Wayne and I usually discuss these things, and by discuss, usually I'm telling him how much I hate my drawings, and then see how they turn out afterwards. But you know,
since I can't draw, I'm going, hey, it looks good to me.
No.
Franco, tell me about your tools you're using tonight. What's that?
This is paper. This is paper right here.
Oh, good, great. Yeah.
And then I found this pen that I like, and it's called it's you can't see it real well. Here it is.
Oh, is that a Pentel fine? That's
it's
a
touch
fine pen, right? No.
Yeah, it's a Japanese pen. That yes, it is Pentel, made in Japan. Yes, black.
That's right.
But I can't read Japanese, so it says something there, but I can't read it because it's in Japanese.
Yeah.
But I do like this because if you put a little pressure, it gives you a little bit of thicker line. But I've always liked thin lines. I used to ink with a brush, but that just takes too much.
Have you where do you lean on digital versus traditional art at this point, Franco?
It's both for me because I'm working on a couple of books right now, and I'm doing them all digital, just because of time and it's faster. But I like to do this show because it makes me do traditional art, and I've always liked pen and paper over everything else. But I do a lot of stuff digitally.
Oh yeah. How about this, Franco? Do you keep an old school sketchbook?
Yes,
Really?
I do. Yeah.
How long does it take you to go through a sketchbook?
Years, because I seem to have like 50 of them around here, and I'm never I'm never drawing in one to completion all the time. I have one of just nudes that I do life drawings in when I take my classes, because we go to a life drawing session. So I bring just that specific notebook when I go. I have one of just, every time I have a new idea, I have little notebooks, sketchbooks with ideas for stories and stuff like that. So they get half filled or quarter filled, or sometimes 1 or 2 pages, and the idea doesn't go anywhere, because I'm like, oh, this is a new idea for a book I'll do someday, and then just ones that I just kind of sketch in and stuff like that.
Okay. And do you is there a secondary thing to them? Like, do you scan? Like, do you like fold it up and put it on your scanner, or do you take a picture of it to transfer it to digital? How do you get things out of the sketchbook?
Well, lately what I do is I actually draw on loose leaf paper. Printer paper. And I'll draw stuff on printer paper, and I must have tossed the other ones over. But I'll do something in like a pen drawing like this first, and then lightbox it onto something like this. So then, because then I sell my pen drawings too. So yeah.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, Franco. But
no, it's all right. Like I said, this goes wildly anywhere we want it to go.
Yeah. I had a problem. I had to stop buying sketchbooks. Remember when you could go into like the Barnes and Noble and they just had like a stack of blank sketchbooks in the middle of the room and a palette, and I was like, "Oh, these are 3 for $10," and I would just walk out. And but it's just like you gotta cut that out at some point.
That's why I have so many sketchbooks around here. I literally have like sketchbooks everywhere. Yeah, it's a horrible, horrible thing.
Here's my last art question for the moment.
Yeah.
Do you, Franco, as a cartoonist, do you at now or at any point had a problem with hoarding art supplies?
That's like the entirety of my career, basically. If I give you a studio tour, I've got pens and markers everywhere. I've got pencils here. I have my painting section over on that side of the studio. Yeah, it's horrible. It looks like Michael's exploded in here. Basically, is what you'd see.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's tough to not, because as we all know, if you find something that works, you buy all of it. And at some point that starts to
hence, these pens, because I was using a different pen and I still use it. I this is a different Pentel pen, thinner one, and actually this is a zebra pen. I'm sorry. See, we're getting way into the weeds here, but I like it. So I was using these zebra pens, and I was using this one as well, this other zebra pen, and then I went to Terrificon, and you pack everything for a show that you need, and I forgot to pack my drawing pens. The one thing that you always forget every convention. This convention, it was a drawing pen. Yeah. So my good friend Jason May was 2 tables down from me, and they weren't selling any art supplies anywhere. So I'm like, hey man, like idiot me, forgot my drawing pen, and he goes, oh, I got an extra one, and he let me borrow it, and I'm like, I really like this pen. At the convention, like I'm online searching this stupid thing because I'm like, this thing's great, and I bought like 15 of them. So they're here. I just bought like 3 here. Here's a pack of them right here.
There you go.
I just bought them.
Yeah, so, it's an addiction.
You're illustrating my point, which is not good.
Franco,
Yeah.
is that a Pintel sign pen? Because that's what J. Robert Deans was asking.
It may be.
That's
I don't know. It's in Japan, J. Robert. So I don't know. It's Japanese. But...
it's written in Japan. That's hilarious.
It's in Japan, so I don't know.
So, all right, last, and I don't want to mess up your deal, Franco.
No, it's all right.
You're so famous. If you say where you get your art supplies, everybody will go there and buy all the art supplies.
Yeah.
But where do you get your art supplies from?
Usually Michael's. When I need it right away, but sometimes I'll order stuff at dickblick.com. And I have been, the Evil Corporation, the Japan ones from Amazon, basically. Yeah.
Japan. Have you ever used, this is my spot, jetpins.com?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yep.
But all right, I'll stop talking.
No, it's all right. That's why we're here.
D. Brad says hello to all three of us and is wondering, does Jamar have a coffee?
No, that's Thursday night.
Does Jamar have a what? I missed it.
A coffee.
Oh, a coffee. No, because then if he finished his coffee, we'd have to be done with the show. That's a different show entirely.
Yeah. No, I'm hanging out with a sparkling polar seltzer with the essence of fresh lemon.
The essence. That means they walked the lemon past it.
Yeah, it's a suggestion.
They have a big vat of seltzer, and one guy walks past it with a lemon. It's an essence of lemon.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I was in a restaurant in Edmonton, and the guy says, "I want my steak rare. Just walk it through a warm room."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. So, are you Wayne? Are you a carnivore? Are you?
Oh yeah. I have no problems eating the meat.
What temperature do you like your meats?
I'm medium rare.
Medium rare. So it's got so if I remember my meat scale, my temperature scale, like medium rare is pretty much pink on the inside.
Yeah.
With maybe just like a
sear around the outside.
Like a fine crust.
It's given up mooing, but it could if you zap it with some paddles.
Yeah.
You can bring it back to life.
You can bring it back to life. We have the technology.
That's fantastic. This biotic T-bone. I grew up in a well done family.
Mm-hmm. That's me. Well done. Yep.
Right. I grew up in a well done, and like if I can't chew it, that means it's not done enough. Like,
right.
And later on in life, somebody was like, you don't have to cook it that hard. I'm like, well, how do you know it's not done?
Right.
If it's not burned. So at some point I had a medium temperature steak, and it was like a whole other meal. I was like, is this what steak tastes like? I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So like I haven't gone back since, but it's a totally different thing. That's almost like people who get upset when you put ketchup. Like, who puts ketchup with a steak? But if you do that,
who does that? That's ridiculous.
But
when it's well done, you have to.
But that's just it. It's like you're compensating for having this done steak, so you gotta like lubricate it, right?
Because it's the only way it's going to go down.
It's like,
right. But if it's like
you're gonna recurge, it's like someone's gonna take this still of me doing this and insert other things on the online.
That's fantastic.
Awful. Oh boy.
Right, but yeah, and also I don't know how you guys feel about this. Is it a sin to put ketchup on a hot dog? I think some people will like fight you to your grave for putting.
We have these arguments all the time on the Oh Yeah podcast.
Yeah.
But because I'm from New York, and you definitely put ketchup on a hot dog. and in Chicago you don't. It's like they throw you out of the city. Those are things that are worked on.
You tell my man Arturo I don't like Chicago style hot dogs.
Neither do I.
I'm sorry.
They put that neon green relish, and that is not a natural color. That is like Chernobyl. Something nuclear happened to that thing.
And what is
Banner had a hand in that.
And what exactly is a sport pepper? It's just like too much stuff going on.
You know, like how Essence of Lemon is they walk the lemon past the vat of seltzer. A sport pepper, they take that and they beat the crap out of it on a football field. They're like tackling that shit and throwing a football at it. So that's what that means.
That's got that pepper has CTE. He's got some brain trauma. Yeah, shout out to Chicago. I love Chicago.
Oh, me too.
My people's out there, but I can't get down with those hot dogs. I remember we were kind of leaving Chicago, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't get a hot dog," so I ran to the Nathan's and O'Hare, and I picked all of the stuff off and threw it in the trash. And people were like staring at me in the thing like I blasphemed.
That guy must be from New York or Philly as they walk back past you.
Because I smelled like a cheesesteak. Oh, he must be from Philly.
See, but now I learned food etiquette, Philly food etiquette from you.
That is right.
We went to Philly, get some Philly cheesesteaks, and I learned the jargon. I learned wit without, right?
That was one of my favorite trips to the cheesesteak spot. Yeah. We loaded up an Uber and I put Franco in it. And I'm like, you're going to get this cheesesteak. We're going to do this right. We went to the middle of South Philly. And you know what also makes food taste better? Danger.
Yeah.
Because at any point it could have went sideways out there. But
that's right. Yeah, there were some questionable types around, and I'm like, this is where we're going. All right, I'm with you. Yeah,
you don't have to roll the windows down; just leave them up. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't afraid of really the people or the surroundings. I was afraid that if I used any of the wrong lingo, because you told me that they were, when you go up to the window, you got to say it because they will say something back to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so you did really well, Franco. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, fear does that to a person. So
all right, Franco, order your cheesesteak. Let's do it live.
Oh, come on. I'll put me on. I want a
all right.
Philly wit.
All right. It's
onions.
Meat. Hold on. Meat.
No.
But meat, cheese, onions. So
all
right, go ahead. So you want a steak whiz wit.
Is that what I said? Is that it? Steak with wit? No.
Yeah. So the meat is you can either because some people get a chicken cheese steak.
Right.
So the first column is the meat. So if you just say steak, it's just like like sirloin.
Right.
So and then the next is the cheese. So you can get provolone or American or whiz, cheese whiz. Right. And then the last part is wit or without.
Onions.
Right.
Right. Yeah. See, I do remember that. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
And then I remember asking, like all of our people watching have tuned out now. They're like, I don't want to listen to this. But I remember I'm like, well, should I get the large one or like, how do you order large? And then I got the largest one. And I remember we all sat down at a table, and everybody had these like cheesesteaks, and then I sat down with my cheesesteak. And I'm like, what happened? What happened here?
That's right. Well, if you don't have indigestion at the end of your meal, you weren't doing it right.
Oh, but no, that thing was good, but it did blow out of me later.
Yeah, so, I was very proud of you. I told you don't get the fries. You didn't need all of that. Didn't you get a shake too? Like, people kind of overdo it at the cheesesteak spot.
I was there. It was I had never been there before. I had to. So you have to, even if you don't eat it. You
just have to.
I took it back to the hotel with me and kept it for 3 days, but then got rid of it when I didn't need it.
Is that when like the paper it's wrapped in, you can see through it because it's so greasy? It's turned translucent.
I went to a show once and there was a guy that we were kind of staying with. This is years ago, and there was a guy that we were staying with, and we ordered pizza one night, and we had pizza, and then he took the leftovers back to the hotel room with him. He wrapped it up, and I'm thinking, oh, he's going to eat this later on that night, right? 2 days later, we're at the convention, and he pulls this stuff out of his backpack, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, gonna have some pizza. And I'm like, is that the pizza we ordered like the other night, like 2 nights ago? And he goes, yeah, it's still good. And he ate it, and then I'm like, well, this is not going to end well, because then like 2-3 hours later, he's like, oh, dude, I don't know, I ate something, I don't feel well. I'm like, really? Could it have been the like shoe leather that you were eating that you kept in your backpack for like 5 days? That might have been it.
You can't eat Wednesday pizza on Sunday. You just gotta let that. You gotta
let
that
go. And
go.
We didn't even have a fridge in the hotel because back in those days there were like 5 guys staying in one room, and we didn't get hotels with refrigerators. That wasn't a thing.
No, you were lucky bathtub to sleep in.
You were lucky if you had a window in your room. Like that wasn't a thing.
It's like your room was like in the bottom of a cruise ship with like a porthole in the middle of the wall. Yeah.
Every once in a while in the middle of the night you hear, oh.
Chains rattling. Yeah, man. That's how you had to do it.
And that sound, that was the guy in the bathroom. That was because he had the pizza from 3 nights ago.
It's poltergeisted in the bathroom. I'm sorry, Wayne. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Jay Roberts agrees they put way too much stuff on the Chicago dog. Why have the hot dog?
Yep.
He's also saying we're making him really hungry and he just ate dinner.
That's nice.
But we do have a question about hot dogs. Kenny Long wants to know, how about mayo on hot dogs?
Oh, come on now. Now you're just being ridiculous at this point. That's not a thing ever. Jeez Louise.
Well, I've noticed you Americans like mayo on French fries.
Okay, now when you say you Americans,
well, because I'm a Canadian.
No, I got that part.
I do like a little fancy sauce, right? You do a little ketchup, mayo, a little dip. That's nice.
What do they call it? Matchup, something where you combine the two.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't call it that. I think we call that fancy sauce. But you know what? The older I get, the less stuff I like on my food. I just want to eat it. Like I don't, especially like when you're a teenager, you drowned everything in ketchup.
Right.
Here's another Philly thing for you, and we didn't do that because we didn't order from that place, the right place, Franco. Say if you're in your neighborhood and you're just going to order a cheesesteak from the local pizza joint, right? Some of the best cheesesteaks are just, a phone call away, Franco.
Right.
You don't have to go downtown and, maybe get shot. So let's say, let me get a steak, blah, 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 blah. And let me get some fries. And then they go, salt, pepper, ketchup? And you go, yeah. So that is, there's 3 things together. Salt, pepper, ketchup on fries is you'll get your fries like everything's hot. Like they dump ketchup on it and salt and pepper it and then put it back in the oven. So you kind of get this cake of fresh fries. It's delicious, but you just go salt, pepper, ketchup. Let me get salt, pepper, ketchup.
I had this thing in college where we had the dining hall in college, right? But they would make a dinner and then you'd have you could get sandwiches and stuff that were pre-made because they tried to give you a variety. So today's Monday and they made chicken or whatever, some sort of chicken and some sort of pasta or whatever. But the one thing that was constant every single time was the grill. You can order hamburgers and hot dogs from the grill every single time.
Right.
So if you went to the grill, if you didn't like the chicken dish or whatever dish the main dish that they had, you would go order burgers. And I'll never forget, it was an old guy. He had to have been about 75 years old. And he was the guy on the grill with the spatula, and you would go up to him and you'd say, can I have a cheeseburger? And he'd look at you and go, ah. And you'd repeat it. You'd say, can I have a cheeseburger? What? A cheeseburger? Can I have a cheeseburger, please? And you'd basically be yelling at the guy, and he goes, all right, I heard you the first time, goddammit, you don't have to yell, and you put a cheeseburger on. And then you go down the line, and there was a Jamaican guy that was like, maybe like 20,
young
say,
guy,
yeah, you'd say, can I have fries with that? And he'd go, what? And you were like, fries. He'd be, what? French fries. And he's like, fouais. And he would give you fries. He'd say fouais. But like, this was every single time you went there. Like, if you were online behind me, you'd go to the guy and say, can I have a cheeseburger? And he'd go, huh? He'd do the same thing, like right after he did it with me. But there's one job. The guy's just hamburgers. That's all he's doing.
Right. Like
the Jamaican guy is just fries. It's not like they had onion rings and chicken nugget. Just fries. That's all he had. What? It was just the same thing.
Like no Pepsi, Coke.
Yeah. Cheeseburger.
It was ridiculous.
That's hilarious. Yeah. It's you think they did that just to entertain themselves, like they want to see how.
Oh yeah, they were messing with everybody. I knew it. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, here's a question I'll ask. As I just saw some video. What is it? I think it's a clip from. Was it Rocky 3? Was that the Mr. T Rocky?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Where Rocky's on the beach and Adrian's like in his face. It's just like, what's wrong with you? What's your problem? I'm scared, all right? I'm afraid. Mm-hmm. And somebody took that clip and they somehow translated that to arguing with your server at a restaurant. Like guys will never complain about their food at a restaurant. You'll just eat it. Right. So if you guys are out to dinner and the server messes up your order or the kitchen messes up your order, do you complain?
No, never.
Wait, what about you?
I worked in the restaurant industry, so I never did. Never.
And it seems like that's like a guy thing. Guys don't complain. They just like, yo. There was this
one time way early when I was dating my wife. We went to this restaurant and they screwed up my order. I forget what I ordered. They screwed it up, and I said, well, I just can't eat this. Like, this is not what I ordered or whatever. And I wound up sending it back. And then it came out again, and then the waiter got a little snippy, and I'm like, no, this needs to go back. I wound up sending it back like 4 or 5 times, literally. And then it came back, and it was, it looked perfectly done the way I needed it and everything. And my wife and our friends were like, are you going to eat that? I'm like, hell no, I'm not eating that. They're like, well, why did you send it back 4 times? I'm like, it was the point. They needed to get it right, but I'm not eating that. Well, why aren't you eating it? I have no idea what they did to it back there in the 3 times I sent it since the first time, and I'm not eating this thing.
Yeah. It's just, I don't want anybody to tamper with my food.
No.
But
Wayne, how about you?
Well, is that a Canadian thing?
Because it's been a long time since I actually got really pissed off at a.
Yeah, he's Canadian. I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think he ever got mad at anybody. Yeah.
Oh, I get mad. Don't worry. My brother will tell you all about it.
That's funny. Well, yeah, like if everybody's if everybody's polite, then it's not a problem, right?
That's the way I like to think about it.
That's funny. Well, yeah, it's it's like it's got to be. You know what? There's one thing I won't eat fish face. I do have that thing. Have you ever been to a place and like you order the fish and they bring out like a legit fish? With the eye looking at you, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like fish face. I
used to work in a restaurant. We used to make the fish faces. Yeah.
I can't eat fish face, bro.
Yeah.
You got to send that back. Can you cut the face off?
I think I told this on the podcast, but like we very Italian family, and one year for Easter Sunday, my family made rabbit, and I refused to eat it because one, it's sacrilegious. Because you don't make rabbit on Easter Sunday. That's just like a thing. Because is that the Easter bunny? I'm not eating that. And then my sister would like to gross me out, so they would, my family would cook the whole thing. So you'd have the whole head, and the eyeballs would be in there, and she would like scoop out the eyeballs and eat
the
them.
eyeballs, yeah.
Yeah, and that's another meme that's going to be made. That one. But yeah, no, she would gross me out.
Yeah, I can't. It's not a good look, bro. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. No.
And I got into a thing where at a restaurant, and they were like, "My friend, here's your fish." And I was just like, "You gotta send this back. I can't even act like I'm gonna eat this." Even like I said, and they're like, "Well, can you pay for?" I'll pay for the fish. Give it to the dude in the back. He'll eat it, but I can't do it. Bring me the gazpacho.
Listen, speaking of fish, because we've been on for like over an hour, we should talk about Suicide Squad and What If.
Okay.
Somewhat. We don't have to. We should.
Did you want to talk about Suicide Squad if Jamar hasn't seen it?
Jamar hasn't seen it, so we don't have to.
It's okay. I'm not gonna watch it, so go for it.
Oh my God! It's another art.
I'm sorry. I'm not feeling it. So, but please go for it. Swing for the fences.
For the fences. Well, they did with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they did. What did you think, Wayne? I kind of liked it. Mostly.
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
I had issues. Yeah.
I like it. I thought it was very ambitious. Definitely do not get attached to anybody.
Right.
Because it is the Dirty Dozen. I think they played Harley a lot better in this movie than they did in previous movies. She acted really crazy.
I love Margot Robbie as Harley, but this was my favorite incantation of her. I think of all the movies, and I love her to death as Harley. If you could tell by the drawing. Yeah. Can you guess the other favorite character that I had by the drawing? Yeah. I don't know if you could, but
that's what I was going to get at. To me, the two standout characters that were hilarious were Weasel and King Shark. King Shark, I think we talked about it last time, was for an animal that's like, it's supposed to be dead. Like the eyes are dead. There's no expression, but there was emotion. There was feelings. Every time he talked, there was something to it.
I would like that
you could relate
to. Yeah, I would like that to be attributed to the greatness that is Sylvester Stallone. His just acting prowess.
Yeah.
Besides it's spot on in this one.
Like when he puts his you see it in the trailer. Hand. Yes, King Shark. Hand.
That's your hand. Yes.
Or get him off the comms. Bird, and he's staring at this bird because they're doing the lookout, looking at, okay, who's where, and everyone's chiming in. It's clear, and then you hear King Shark go, bird. And he's looking at this bird, and they're yelling, King Shark, get off the comms.
It was funny. There were a lot of funny, violent as hell.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah.
I've heard from the internets. The internets.
The webs,
the interconnected networks. There are people who are like, they're really divided. Either they're like, oh, that was fantastic, and other people are like, yo, that was whack. So like, what is kind of causing this split?
I don't know. I felt kind of like, in between about the movie. It hit its mark in I think it was a good Suicide Squad movie. It was definitely living up to its name. I think the issue with it was that it went too big, because if you think about Suicide Squad in the comic books, it's really, like a covert team, and you're sending them in to do a dirty job, right? So the first one, did you see the first one at all, or not even the first one?
No, but continue.
Yeah. So the first one, no, that's fine. At this point, it's been like 5 years. I'm spoiling, so if you haven't seen it, it's too bad. But there was a lot of witchcraft and like magical stuff in the movie, and I'm thinking that's just that's a job for Justice League Dark or Justice League itself, not the Suicide Squad. This one, when I saw that Starro was involved, even before the movie came out, and I think this kind of like, you know, I had my preconceived notions of it because, you know, you're dealing with Starro in this movie, and the Suicide Squad is not someone who should be going up against Starro. Now, having said that, the way they get to Starro, they wouldn't have known that it was him. Amanda Waller would have, the person who sends him out on the mission would have. So she should have really gone to Justice League or somebody else. But the villain was just too big for them. The movie was good. The movie was well written. It was funny. There were some really good, you know, for as many characters that were in the movie, they all had a complete arc. Mostly complete arc, and it was just really well done. But I think my issue with the movie is that there were the villain just was out of their league, basically.
Will that be the same as in the first movie with the Enchantress?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Was out of their league.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said before.
At power level.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So that was my issue with both.
Yeah, you would think you would send them after like the one of the best Suicide Squad movies is the animated version.
Okay, that one I haven't seen. So spoiler.
Where Amanda sends them into Gotham. We'll leave it like that.
Okay.
But it's a good movie, and I love Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Like she plays the wall just like you'd expect. Like no mercy, don't care. Job needs to get done.
And I thought in this one it was much more Amanda Waller than the first movie.
Yes.
You know, because the first one she was almost kind of a little sympathetic, but in this one it was definitely Amanda Waller all the way.
Yeah,
definitely.
You guys, you know what's funny? I guess I'm just not a DC guy.
Oh, bite your tongue.
I know.
Wait, 1 minute. Gotta hit the X. Gotta hit the X somewhere. There it is.
It's all good.
It's all good.
You know, and I know Franco is a ride or die DC guy, so it's all good.
Oh no, it's just, you know, they help pay the mortgage on the house, so I'm okay.
Yeah, hey man, I get it. You know where your bread is buttered. I understand.
We had just a side story. We put an addition on the house one year and many years ago, and you know, the guy, like, you know, saw some of the stuff I was doing in here, and he goes, "What do you do?" And, you know, told him, and then we were discussing an issue outside, and he said, "Well, you know, if we do this, you know, because there was leaking and stuff." Long story short, you know, I said, "Well, what would you do to get rid of this?" He goes, "Well, we'd have to do this, this, and this, but, you know, that's, you know, why would you do that?" I'm like, "Well, because, you know, I'm paying for this, and I don't want like water coming into my house, you know." And basically the ultimate line was like, he's making fun of me, like I don't know what I'm talking about. I said, "Well, you know, like Superman, you know," he was making fun of Superman. And I said, "Yeah, well, Superman's paying your bill, so why don't you get the hell off my property?" And I hired someone else, basically. But
that's
and
funny.
that one time I got really mad, so I'm like, why don't you get out of here?
Well, you know, it is funny just even thinking about contractors, because, you know, that's always just like a high anxiety thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I wonder how all that stuff works, because you always wind up in some sort of like conflict with the contractor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like they kind of don't want you to get involved in your own home renovation project. Mm-hmm. And, you know, why would you want that? Because I'm paying you for it. Why is that part of this? So it seems like you see more times than not they try to talk you out of doing things than to
because they don't want to do the work.
Because they don't want to. You know, some of my favorite people are contractors. I'm not dissing the whole thing, but it's very mystifying to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keeping on the Suicide Squad.
Sorry about that.
Julian Lopez was wondering, what do you guys think of John Cena being part of Suicide Squad? Do you think he fits to do movies based on the DC extended universe or the MCU?
Well, you know, that's interesting.
I thought it was really good in the movie. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see Suicide Squad, but I think John Cena has an interesting look. I can't say he's the best actor in the world, but it seems like he's having fun, so I think that means something.
What, The Marine wasn't a good movie?
Which one? There was like 9 Marine movies.
He was only in the first one, I think, though.
I think so, and I think the Miz was in a bunch of them, wasn't he?
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Randy Orton?
Randy Orton? Like everybody's been the Marine. That's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, it's like to that point. I think Dave Bautista is a better actor than he is a wrestler.
Yes.
Like Drax is great. That one movie where he's like the spy with the girl running around with him.
Right.
He
was good in James Bond too, even though he didn't say much.
Yeah. He's got a great look. He's a fantastic actor. But I'm not a big Batista WWE guy.
I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Stuber. I was trying to think of the movie that he was in with when he was it was the Stuber one where he's the cop.
Stuber.
And he had to wear the glasses because he couldn't see.
That was actually a pretty good movie. It was pretty funny, actually. Yes. I thought, yeah.
Stuber. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamar, we have a question from Bruce Jackson.
Yo, what up, Bruce?
Hi, Jamar. Which incarnation of Static Shock do you like? Me personally, the DCAU version from the 2000s. He's the original one from 2000-2004 cartoon series of the incarnation or the incarnation from Young Justice.
I mean, I guess because we're talking about the animated universe, I think it might be the original one. Yeah, I think I like that the best. And that was it Dwayne McDuffie was writing all of those too.
Yeah.
It's fantastic stuff. And I think it's still underrated. It's a great cartoon. And I liked his design too. His hair was a little funky, but I thought it was pretty bold, especially for the time frame. I was really surprised that it got that popular. Everybody loved Static Shock. That was great.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
I like it.
I like it. It's good. There you go.
Thanks, Bruce. That was a great question.
I have no idea what I'm drawing here with this dress. I should look it up, but I'm going to wing it.
Yeah, where are you going with that?
I don't know. I'm just making up a pattern as I go along, so I don't even know if it's the actual dress or not.
Oh, that's pretty close.
Yeah, but if I didn't have you guys on my screen, I would actually look it up and look at it, but that's not a thing that's happening right now. So
I like the frilly line, Franco.
We're gonna have to deal with it.
So
yeah, it's not.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Franco, how many podcasts do you guys do?
We just do the Oh Yeah podcast once every 2-3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just started this one honestly because I felt like I needed to draw.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't drawing things. I've been working on so many things, so many books. I just got word that one of my books is coming out in March of next year.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 books that I'm working on for DC. Mm-hmm. And then another book of mine. So I'm working on so many projects that are, and you know how this works. You work on them so far in advance that, people are like, what are you working on? I haven't seen anything from you in 2-3 years. Oh, well, yeah, because I'm working on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm working so much digitally that I like to do this to kind of just do this on paper and just draw something and have something that I could just put up for sale or something, and non-commission base. So no one wanted me to draw this. This is just something I'm drawing for fun because I wanted to, and that's where all of this comes about. So, yes.
Nice. You're scratching an itch. I like it.
Yep.
The Oh Yeah podcast, you think of it as like the Vulcans going through Ponfar. Tie it back into Star Trek.
No. You never know if we're gonna come to phaser blast or not on that show.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's looking good, Franco.
Oh, thanks. Let's give everybody a look-see.
Now, how are you going to finish that? Are you gonna markerize that, or what are you thinking?
Yeah. I usually do markers and color pencils and texture and stuff like that. But I usually do the line work on here because it's just easier to do than. Sometimes I get to markers, but we're only on here for a couple hours, and I never get the drawing done. I'm a notoriously slow artist. I don't draw very fast.
Are you as slow as Barry Windsor Smith that only took 35 years to do Monsters?
Yeah, but you see, he's got a book now. I don't actually get anything done in terms of that. But
Franco, how are you with creating textures with ink? Do you ever play around with that, like splattering an old toothbrush across the page, or the old thumbprint trick?
Yeah, sometimes I do that stuff, but I'm more of a color person, so I like to add all that stuff with color and then cross hatching with colored pencils and stuff over that. That's mostly the way I do it. I used to do like the black and white, like Jim Lee style. Not that I'm comparing myself to Jim Lee at all, or his talent, but I used to do that kind of artwork, and I just slowly gravitated more towards cartoony and bold, bright colors and stuff. So, yeah.
Very cool. And I know that, especially on the con floor, Franco, you're notorious for doing cool, fast sketches. So it was kind of hard for me to believe that you said you're slow.
Yeah, the cool, fast sketches are mostly in crayon and just like, you whip them out real fast. They don't look half as good as these drawings. Not that these drawings are any good either, but they're usually, someone will post something that I drew online, and I'll come across it, and I'm like,
right,
what is that?
Right.
Like, what was I thinking? But
yeah. No, I know that's a couple of cartoonists don't like doing convention sketches because then, like you said, they kind of show up after the fact. Either on like what is that? The art was it the comic art
comic art fans?
Yeah, those things, or eBay.
Yeah.
You mean like this?
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Who's that?
Can't read the signature. I'll get his name tomorrow when I see him in the room.
There you go.
You see stuff like that, and you're like, oh man, I really wish I didn't rush that arm or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So, well, Franco, after all these years, do you feel it's hard for you to not see your own mistakes on a page? Like, when are you happy with a drawing?
Never.
Right?
Never. You can ask Wayne, but never. I'm just not happy with any drawings that I do. But I think that's the mark of getting better.
Yeah.
Or always wanting to do better.
Yeah.
Not necessarily getting better, because I don't know if I'm getting better at this age, but wanting to do better.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
I've only met a few. You could count them on one hand. Artists that are really satisfied with their work, no matter who they are.
Yeah, it kind of goes against the grain of artists, right? It's like you want to keep improving your student. You're never finished. You're you always want to go to the next page.
I find it to be a very, this podcast has just really gotten off but I like it. I'm not complaining about it, but we've really veered off topic here. But here we go. I've always had this strange, weird thing about being an artist, because on one hand, you are this extrovert and you want people to see your work. You want them to see what you're doing. You want the world to go, hey, look at this. Look what I did. Look what I created. But then the other hand of that is like, oh crap, why are they looking at that? That's awful. I drew that. It's wrong. Also, I tell my students this all the time because they ask questions like this, and I cannot tell you how many bad reviews of my work I've read online, or I've heard from people that tell me, and you just, how do you deal with that? You just kind of put it out of your mind, but it really does stick with you sometimes, because you're like, oh man, they're right. Like, like I write a story and I've stopped reading stuff online about me, but sometimes you come across stuff and you're like, it is what it is.
Well, that's just kind of how we're built, right? It's kind of like you can get 1,000 likes, but the one dislike just sticks.
That's the one that really sticks with you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's that old, I'm not condoning Dr. Phil at all, but he used to say something that really stuck with me. And he would say, it takes 1,000 attaboys to make up for that you suck, or you don't matter type thing. I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely, yeah, because we're constantly looking for that satisfaction, that somebody to notice what you've done, because you're putting your heart and soul into this, and you rip out a little piece of your soul when you put it down on paper in a story, and then when someone tears it up, you're like, damn, that hurt, type thing. But I can't not do that. My wife always says that my mind is always going. It's always working on something. So even if I'm just sitting there, she could tell that there's something going on in my head. And she said, if you're not drawing or you're not creating, you would go absolutely nuts. And I don't use that, to be derogatory in any way, but she says that, if you're not putting it down, that's your therapy. If you're not putting it down on paper, if you're not writing something, if you're not drawing something, that you can't function as a human being. And she's absolutely right, because I'm constantly doing things, and I don't know if that's good or bad. People always come up to me and say, they see my table set up at a convention, or you go on my website and you see all the stuff that I've worked on, and that's not even half of the stuff that I didn't finish or didn't put out yet, because there's just stuff constantly happening. I don't know if it's that way with you, but I can't not work on something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it sounds really lofty to say, to call yourself a creator, but that's kind of what you do. You make things. I said this on one of the podcasts. It's like we, as a profession, we make something out of nothing. And, I think to add the humility of never feeling like it's good enough, I think that's kind of the price you have to pay to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you're never satisfied, so you got to keep going. So I think that balances you out. Like, if you didn't have that part, no one could stand you, right?
But there's some artists that I've met that you walk away and you're like, wow, that guy's a jerk, or that's someone that I don't ever need to talk to again. And there's been very few of those, but there have been some of them out there.
Oh, they exist. Yeah,
they do exist. And then there's it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to someone, and when we do critiques in class, I always say to my students that critiques, when you critique artwork, it's necessary. It's how you get better. It's how you learn. If someone doesn't point something out to you, you may never see it. Right. So we do critiques in class, and you are allowed to tell the person that their drawing sucks. You're allowed to say that, but you can't just end it there. You have to tell them why, or why you think it sucks.
Right.
And saying it sucks is a term that you usually don't use, but to make my point, that's what I say. And you have to tell them why. How do they get better? You want to be in a situation where you're helping a person out, because I've always found as an artist, you're never not learning. You're never done making that piece of artwork better, you know. So I don't know. I could just be talking out my ass. So
I got you monologuing, Franco.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, just to interject, D. Brad really likes your work, both your Franco and Jamar's art. I'm one of the fans. He really appreciates what you guys share on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And his question is, do comic artists buy art from other comic artists at conventions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the
I do
time.
actually.
Yeah, that's go ahead, Franco.
Yeah,
I'm sure you have
have
a lot of pages.
Yeah, I've said this on the Oh Yeah podcast. You know, one of my biggest influences was Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and I've always wanted to own original art by him. And luckily I have two pieces: a Superman sketch that's kind of hanging right over my head back here, and a page from Atari Force, his comic Atari Force that I got. And it's just an innocuous random page from one of the issues, but I'm like, it's Jose's work, and I have it. Yeah, there's a couple of things that I have hanging around the studio that I have. And one of them is my cover to Superpowers, my variant cover. My wife wouldn't let me sell it. She framed it and she hung it on the wall here. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oof. It's hanging next to Doc Shane, or it's hanging next to Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and I'm like, why do I have mine hanging up there? But yes, I do. Not a lot, but I do.
Yeah, I have a couple of things from certain people, but you know, also you see a lot of cartoonists or students of, you know, the past eras of cartoonists. So you see a lot of people try to buy original pages from stuff, you know, long in the past, or comic strips, you know, things like that. Oh, I got a nice Steve Hazard page, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, no.
I've recently got into Mopsy by Gladys Parker. I love the design of the character.
Yeah.
And the situations. It's almost like the Far Side. It's just these one daily strips, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
How she composes the joke.
Yeah.
You could say, of what was going on. And I got one that's just the day after my birthday from 1964. So I have July 7th, 1964. I don't have the July 6th, but I have the closest one to my birthday.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that stuff means a lot to you know, you in different ways. So like, I don't know what else would there be to purchase if it wasn't, you know, art you could ogle.
Right.
Yeah, and like my art collection is a lot of it is like Batman and Catwoman, but my collection's really diverse in what I have.
Wayne has a very impressive art collection, actually.
I have a nice Johnny Hazard Sunday by Frank Robbins. I think Robbins is an underappreciated artist. Like I don't think people really. It's like it's like when you got first introduced to Kirby, you didn't understand what Kirby brought to the page.
Right.
And then when you're older, then you're going, oh wow.
Yep.
Now I understand why they consider him the king.
Yeah.
Right. That's absolutely correct. As a younger artist, I couldn't understand Kirby work. I'm like, I don't get this. It's kind of weird looking, but you know, as you get older, you're like, wow, I really understand what he's doing. Absolutely. Right on the mark there, Wayne.
And I think the same can be said about Frank Robbins' work, that you don't really appreciate it probably when you were younger. You thought, oh, his figures are all rubbery. When you look at it, like how he did Morbius or the Invaders for Marvel, but you just go back and now look at what he's done, and it's just beautiful work. I had a conversation with Bill Sinkovich about it in San Diego. We talked for about a half hour about it at the diner outside in the Omni, where we were talking about underappreciated artists, and we both kind of came up with Frank Robbins at the same time.
That's great. Wait, did I say Johnny Hazard? I said Steve Hazard, didn't I? I meant Steve
Yeah.
Canyon. I meant Steve
I know you
Canyon
meant Johnny Hazard.
and Johnny
It's Steve
Hazard.
Canyon. If you're thinking Steve Canyon, Milton Caniff,
Yeah,
his stuff is
Kniff,
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, Kniff, yeah. I caught myself after I said that, like,
Nah, it's all good. We'll make fun of you, but there's a no judgment zone here.
Again, you look at all the different work, like the strip artist, Stan Drake, The Heart of Juliet Jones. Beautiful stuff. For me, it's Al Williamson's. I love his EC work, and then I'll go back to Alex Raymond's Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
it's just it's like the feathering, like when you look at the Hawkman, and it's just it's like real. It's not just cartoony. It's just there's something in his work, which is different than his Secret Agent X9, which is different than his Rip Kirby.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for me it was Frank Frazetta. You know, he could just do cartoony, he could do realistic, he could do those paintings, and you know, when I was younger, I thought like you just did one style of artwork. You know, when I wanted to get into comics, I did, you know, it was before Jim Lee style, but it was like Jim Lee type of style that I thought that's the kind of comic book artwork you do. You know, even though I would do cartoony, I didn't drift towards that till later on. You know, so it's definitely a process. You find yourself, you find your style, you know, but you look at these other guys and man, did I ever want to be Frank Frazetta? Holy cow, man.
Well, you look at Bill, how Bill changes. He was basically a Neil Adams clone, and then New Mutants, and then boom, went off in a direction that he's never returned.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, Mike Mignola, you know, you look at his early style and then you look at where he wound up and you're like, wow, you know, but that's cool. You develop that style and that's what makes them, you know, grandmasters, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Grandmaster. That's cool.
Yes. Oh, wow. See that? I told you we'd get off on tangents.
So many tangents.
But I like it.
Yeah. Oh, I love art. Like to me, it's I can't draw word. I can draw stick figures, but I just love looking at it, looking at the line work, looking at the composition. And recently, I've been trying to pick up picking up like dirt cheap, complete stories just to see the structure. Because some of the old romance stories you can get for like an 8-page story for like $600.
Yeah.
But you're looking at the work that they're putting in, and in that 6-page story, they're telling a complete story, start to finish, and how they're weaving you through the panels.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's it. I should be an art historian at some point.
You should. You can probably at this point. You looked at so much artwork.
I'm ensorcelled with Franco's flower petals he's drawing.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Having said all that,
I just like saying ensorcelled.
Yeah, I was afraid to ask what that meant because
like mesmerized. I've been hypnotized.
Yeah, it kind of inferred that, but I didn't want to delve any further just in case.
Are you going to say that you got chills and then they're multiplying?
Oh. Speaking of beautiful artwork, did you guys see What If?
I did see What If.
Wasn't it fantastic looking?
I did enjoy it, yes.
I thought, you know, the level of animation there, I've always liked that realistic style animation, but man, I don't know how they did what they did. I don't know if it was rotoscoping. I have no idea what the hell it was, but it looked fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it kind of felt a little CG, but also rotoscoped.
Right.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of things going on. I've seen like effects like that in video games lately. But yeah, the technique is really
like the Blues animation for the video games. Dragon Lance, was it
Dragon's Lair? Yeah,
Dragon's Lair and Space Ace.
And Space Ace, yeah. Yep. And oh, do you remember this one? Cliffhanger.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, it was. They took a Lupine, the third. Oh wait, was it Castle Cagliostro? I'm totally murdering that. And they made one of those Laserdisc games out of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was one of those games that you just threw your dollar in the garbage because you got like nowhere in it.
Right.
But yeah, that I love those old Laserdisc games.
My only complaint, I love the story, the what if, and my only complaint with it, because again, we're going back to that. Your mind is always working, even when you're at rest or anything. And I'm watching this thing, and you want to enjoy it, but my mind is going, "This is what I would have done. This is what I would have done."
Mm.
The one thing I would have done was I would have not called her Captain Carter. I would have called her Captain Britain. Yep. That would have been me.
That's where I thought that was going.
Yeah. And then someone online said, well, they tried to do some explanation. And my answer to that is they called it what if, so what, you didn't introduce Captain Britain in the MCU yet, in the movie version. So what, it's what if. Maybe you're setting it up for when it does show up at some point, and you can do Excalibur or something,
Mm-hmm.
Hell, they did Guardians of the Galaxy. Why not?
That's true. I enjoy it. Well, yeah, I read that somebody was complaining that, rather than it just being its own divergent timeline, it was more like, let's just do a palette swap and put Peggy Carter in the same scenes that happened in, First Avenger. You know what I mean?
But do those people know what a what if story is?
Probably not, because we're comic book dudes, and most people, and a lot of the MCU people aren't comic book heads. You know what I mean?
Well,
so
I think that's
two camps.
Yeah, the beauty of what if is it's right there in the title. Like what if,
Right.
and they did a really good job where, Agent Carter says, no, I'll stay in the room. And, the Watcher comes in and says that line right there, that's where everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a fan of the movies, and presumably that's why you're watching this, is because you're a fan of those movies, that here we go in a time,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
I think they incorporated elements of the Shield TV show with that octopus thing.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I think that's part of the Shield TV show.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of that either.
Yeah, because there was in the later seasons, Quake goes off to this other world, and Hydra wanted to open a portal, and there was this monster creature, and I thought I should have checked it before I jumped in, and I thought, oh, that's a callback to actually Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, that was literally a Hydra. I was thinking,
and that's where the part of the image of Hydra comes from, this alien from another world.
Right.
Yo.
See?
Yo, that's deep.
I don't know these things. That's why I have Wayne on here. He makes me look good.
Well, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I'd like to see more.
Are you into the movies and stuff like that? Because I know you said you're not really into the DC stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've. It's funny. It took me a while to kind of just, I guess, let the Disney magic wash over me. Like when you go to Disney World and you fight it for the first day, and then you get hugged by Goofy and you just let it go. You're like, all right, I'm here now. It took me a minute, but I enjoy all of it. And at one point stopped trying to compare the comic book stuff to the cinematic stuff, because I think that was like a big nerd win for us for a long time.
Right.
Like, oh, I read that, or they took this and then they mashed it with that, like that stuff that makes other people's eyes roll when you start talking about it. Or you were at the movie theaters and you lean over to the person next to you, and that was guy in the comic was and they're just like, oh, shut up.
You mean like every day at the breakfast table when I'm having a conversation with my wife? That you're talking about? Yeah.
And then Storm went out with this guy named Forge. He had a metal leg. Why, shut up. I don't care. And he can build stuff. Okay. His mutant power, he can make stuff. Okay.
That leg would come in handy, and never mind. Let's not go there. But yes, you're right. I would love to date Forge. What, are you kidding me? Come on.
He's so dreamy. Oh man. But no, yeah, I'm into it, and I'm behind on some stuff. I saw What If. I kind of stopped in the middle of Captain America. Winter Soldier, Falcon, and I hadn't gotten to Loki yet. I kind of don't know how everybody has the time to watch all the stuff. When are you watching all this stuff?
Just before the show.
Yeah. And watching is a relative term. Mostly listening is what I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but again, one of the reasons for doing this show is I wasn't watching any of this stuff. And, if I do this show, I have to watch it because I want to. And this literally forces me to watch it.
Yeah.
because I want to watch that stuff. And I literally keep a notebook here next to my desk, and I write. It's my to-do list. It's my, literally it's my to-do book list of stuff. And one of the pages in here is, I'm gonna show it to you, is
Venmo JAMAR NICHOLAS money.
List of stuff to watch right here. It says watch list, and it goes on for 2 pages. Wow. Like stuff that I want to watch that I just haven't watched yet, or that I've caught glimpses of.
I'll say, hey, Franco, I just rewatched this.
Right.
And you go, oh, we got to talk about that.
Right. And I'll put it to the list. Gotcha. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff on here that I get to cross off Superman and Lois because I'm caught up on Superman and Lois.
Franco, you're a list maker.
I have to be. Yeah, I have a whole book, man. Look, the whole book. It's stuff to do and stuff. And it's literally books of stuff. And each page has a different thing. Like this is list of commissions, list of things to draw, watch list. There's 3 pages of that. There's things I have to do these follow-ups on things.
Take out the garbage on Tuesday night.
Well,
yeah.
Jay Robert wants to know, was DS9 on that list of things to do?
DS9. It was at one point because I was going to go through it because I've already seen it, so that can't be on the list. But I did start watching Next Generation again, so I'm going through that before I go to DS9 again. And that's just when I need a palate cleanser from something I really don't need to pay attention to. Wrestling and Star Trek are things that I just put on when I just don't have to pay attention to it. So
yeah, you can just kind of like let that wash over you.
Yeah, wrestling is great because when the crowd reacts, that's when you look up because they'll show a replay. It's really good.
What did Jericho have to go through this week through his challenges of pain, or the trials of Jericho?
Yeah, he had to fight MJF's big dude, Wardlow, and next week he fights MJF himself. So yeah. And then we're going to see if CM Punk and Daniel Bryan show up at some point. Okay.
They haven't shown up yet.
No. The rumor is that they will, though.
I'll tune in for Punk. I'm a Punk guy, so.
Yeah, me too.
I remember.
I got a picture of him over there somewhere.
So you guys are all friends and stuff, right? So you know a lot of people.
I know some people. I know you, so that puts me high on the list.
Well, I am the Kevin Bacon of comics.
There you
go. I remember seeing, because Philadelphia is a hotbed of professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the major wrestling towns.
Right.
So
isn't that where ECW started?
I've gone to so many ECW arena shows.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah. It was a wild Saturday night, man. And the funny thing is that in the old arena, like there were just bleachers. Like on the floor, there were chairs that you probably didn't have by the time the show was over because somebody got hit over the head with it. But everybody, the rest of the arena were just bleachers. And for some reason, everybody stood up on the bleachers. So you stood on the bleachers with their arms folded for a 3-hour show.
Oh boy!
And it's like we're not even on the hard camera. You can sit down. Everybody stood up the whole time. Some great shows. But I remember at Murphy Rec Center, actually, Franco, down the street from Tony Luke's, where we got cheesesteaks, was the famous Murphy Rec Center. And I saw I think it was a really early Ring of Honor show, and Bryan Danielson and CM Punk wrestled in front of 30 people.
Wow.
And me and my buddy Jason were in the back like, we'll see what happens to them. Maybe they'll make it.
Right.
But yeah, wrestling, man.
Well, Jay Roberts says, "What If" reminded me of the animation used recently for the lost episodes of Doctor Who from the 60s, where the episodes were animated over the original discovered audio tracks.
Oh, was that a thing?
Oh, yeah. Did they do that recently?
For Patrick Troughton, I think it was The Power of the Daleks.
Oh, wow. Is that, and where would those episodes be? Because I have to add that to my watch list that I'll never get to.
I think you had to purchase those. They might be on iTunes, but yeah, because I think almost all of the audio still exists, but it's the video that's missing.
Right.
For the episodes.
What did you call it?
The mystery doctors.
What did you call it? iTunes?
iTunes.
Nice.
That's funny. Are you guys into the Thunderbirds at all?
Thunderbirds are go.
FAB. There was a Kickstarter I helped back a couple of years ago where these guys have went in to Jerry Anderson's old studios and started making new Thunderbirds episodes.
Oh wow.
And I think they use old scripts. I think they were like Wayne just said, there were audio tracks but they never filmed it. And I think that they made like 3 or 4 new shorts. And I didn't, it's funny. I think you could get a DVD of that in the Kickstarter, but I didn't want that. I wound up with 4x6 postcards of all the Tracy family. And I got it like 3 years later. I'm like, what am I going to do with these? I didn't get the shows.
You can make your own video. your own show.
Yeah, Brains and the Tracy sons.
Yeah, for me was Captain Scarlet. I love Captain Scarlet. And the Mysterians.
Oh, what was another one? The Fireball, the car, right?
Yeah, Fireball XL.
Yeah.
And then Joe 90.
Super Marination, Stingray, yeah. One of my favorite scenes from Thunderbirds is, I can't remember exactly what happened, but there are these these British puppets, and they get lured into somebody's basement. Like there's a voice that goes, "Go downstairs and wait for us." Well, okay, we'll go. You don't have to push. Cool. And the little puppets just like hop down the stairs, and then you see the human hand like slam the door shut, and the puppets go back up the thing, and the little puppets banging on the door with the wires, and it goes, "You there, open the door. We're British." It's one of my favorite things.
Oh God!
And that's why I love Team America, World Police, because with people that don't get the through line of Team America. Oh my God, that's my favorite. That's my favorite South Park stuff.
Jay Roberts says BritBox has the Doctor Who.
Oh, Doctor Who.
I think. Well, he says BritBox has them. They're also on Google and Vudu for between $5 to $10 a story. And he was wondering, Jamar, did you happen to say old strippers?
I think I said old British. I think that's what I said. Hey, old strippers got to get paid too.
That's right. Everybody's got to make a living.
That's right.
And he also brought up Ultraman. I remember Ultraman as a kid.
Hey, here's the best kept secret on Amazon. I don't know if they still have it. You can get the entire Ultraman original series box set for $9.99 on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
I've bought that more than once.
Did you forget that you bought it?
I plead the fifth. But yeah, I'm a big Ultraman guy. That was my dude.
Didn't Marvel just recently do a comic?
I think so.
Yes, Alex Ross did the covers.
That's right. Yeah.
Hayata. Yeah, I love that stuff, man. Like that whole kind of hokey Toho stuff. I love all that stuff.
Well, that was the time when we were getting Ultraman and Astro Boy when it was getting imported here.
Marine Boy was my favorite thing. You remember that one?
Yep.
It didn't age well. Like I saw some of that on YouTube and I was just like, ugh. But you know, nostalgia and everything. But I love Marine Boy. That was so cool. His girlfriend was a mermaid and he had a pet dolphin. How cool is that?
Why wouldn't it? Yeah. If I was Marine Boy, that's what I would have. I would have both of those things. Well, I don't know that I'd have a girlfriend because I don't know if any mermaid will want to talk to me, but I'd have a pet dolphin maybe.
He was the coolest.
Or you could have a really big seahorse and call him Storm.
Or that. But they never, I remember with that, because wasn't this whole gimmick like he could breathe underwater after he ate this gum? Like he had like this water breathing gum. And he had an electric boomerang that he would kill people with.
And that would work underwater?
Yeah.
You mentioned boomerang. Do you remember Skippy? The kangaroo? It was an Australian import. It was like we were getting the animals shows like Flipper and then Skippy.
I don't remember Skippy. Was that live action? Or was it...
Live action kangaroo show.
No, I don't remember that one.
I don't know if that actually really existed, did it?
Either that or it's a fever dream.
So yeah, sure, Wayne. I love Skippy. Right.
I just had some jelly.
No, I don't remember that one, bro.
Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. Okay, that was a song. Yeah, Skippy the Bush Kangaroo was from 1968 to 1970.
Wow.
Okay, it must have been like a Canadian import.
I was just going to say, was that something that just came up there? Because I don't remember it being
here.
Yeah,
it might have just came up here. Because we were Commonwealth countries, Australia and Canada, so we probably exchanged. We gave them some Canadian content, like the Beachcombers. They gave us Skippy.
Who won out on that deal?
Oh, I think we did. We got Skippy.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
Oh my God. Speaking of rabbit holes.
Oh boy.
Like the kangaroo. And I'm surprised. Okay, Flipper, Flipper was US based.
Right.
But you didn't get Skippy.
No.
Did you ever get the Littlest Hobo? Now that's a Canadian. It's about this dog that goes to town to help people. Think of the Hulk. It's exactly like the Incredible Hulk.
We had that show. It was called Highway to Heaven with Michael Landon.
Okay, now
he wasn't the littlest hobo. He was like in the middle.
Take out the human aspect, put in this little dog, and the dog would go to town helping people.
This isn't Benji movies, is it?
No, it's not Benji. This was called The Littlest Hobo.
Speaking of tangent, have you guys seen the new series on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Bird Girl? Have you seen this?
Yes.
Hysterical. It is hysterical. And there's one episode where Bird Cat, her pet, she's got a pet cat, but it's Bird Cat. He goes out and has this adventure, and he winds up burning this house down with people in it. It's hysterical. That's what you're reminding me of with this Littlest Hobo thing.
Okay. Okay, that's the UK version. The Canadian version ran from 1979 to 1985.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew stuff. Apparently, I don't know anything.
Well, here's something. I think I mentioned this before on some place. You guys ever watch Super Friends?
Yes.
On Saturday morning?
Sure.
Right? So now I would get up early and I would watch this thing. And I remember distinctly one week I'm watching it, and at the end, when the credits were rolling, there was something about a contest where you could send in your own script for the Super Friends, and if you won, like they would use your script. And this is way before recording devices or VCRs or anything, because I'm ancient as dirt, right? So I didn't have pen or pencil. I was just watching the cartoon, and I missed the address, and I can't memorize that stuff. So the next week, I made sure I got up early, and because I wanted to see this thing, and I had a pad and pencil because I was going to write down, but I never saw the address again. And I tell people this, and they're like, I was hallucinating. That was never a thing. But I'm almost positive it was, where they had an address for this contest where you can write the script, because I wanted to do it. And I've looked, not really hard, but I've looked online to see if it actually exists, if they actually did this, but nobody can ever confirm it. So I'm wondering, Wayne is hard at work right now. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to confirm this.
See,
that's what I'm trying to do.
That's the power of television before recording devices.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You would go to school and tell people you saw stuff. They didn't believe you. And
Right.
You had no proof. That also reminds me of when in early Atari, like say if you got the high score in Chopper Command, you would take a picture of the screen, but then you had to go to the photomat to get the film developed.
Right.
And that would take
weeks. You go to Photo Hut, right? Like the little weird yellow building in the parking lot of the ShopRite. Nobody believes me that those things existed either.
And then you get the film back and it's all washed out because you used the flash and you missed it all. We're so spoiled now.
And then there was a time that you get the wrong film and you'd open it up and you develop your film and you open it up and it's like an entirely different family and you're like, what the hell is this? This isn't my pictures.
Is that the gym teacher? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What's he doing there? Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, those places, the 1 hour photo spots, that's a whole other world.
You ever watch that 70s show?
Yeah.
They worked in one, the Cheech and Chong, Cheech or Chong on the photomat.
It was Tommy Chong, right?
Tommy Chong, yeah. Hey man, yeah.
That's so funny.
Where's Dave?
See, Wayne didn't find anything, so I'm assuming that it didn't exist.
You know what? It could have. But the internet refuses.
It did.
Did you guys ever order toys out the back of the comic books? Like, did you get the trunk of Army Men? Did you ever order that? Or like the 1001 World War II figures in the back of the?
I did the art test in the back of the TV guide.
Yeah, draw
the pirate or draw the mouse.
The Tippy Turtle.
Yep. I did that.
That's so funny. Kids have no idea what we went through.
No, it was an adventure.
Well, here's something funny. I remember seeing the ads for the Cubert School in the back of the Marvel comic books, right? With the little, was it a Tarzan drawing next to it or whatever?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that was a real place because it's like right next to X-ray specs. Like they can't be real.
Oh, the X-ray specs were real, yeah.
So I never, I didn't think the Cubert School existed until I was like a grown-up. And I met Tom Zoller because he's a graduate of the Cubert School. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Tom Zoller.
A whole bunch of people that have been out here. Andy Price, a whole bunch of people have been out there. And Tom Zoller was on last week.
Just think, in a what if universe, I could have went to to Cubert with Tom Sawyer. We would have been roommates. What kind of show would that have been?
And then you would have went back to your respective towns and become mayors of your towns, and then you would have had to fight it out because he was mayor at one point of his town or something.
Yeah, was it Hooterville Junction or wherever he's from?
Right, Petticoat Junction, whatever.
Mayor, I like the sound of that. Goldie Wilson,
Goldie.
Mayor.
But would you be freaked out over the Jeffrey Wright voiceover?
I was going to bring that up. I like Jeffrey Wright. I think he can do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
see what I did there?
So funny.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. But I don't know. I don't know if the voice really fit what I thought I'd be listening for. You know what I mean? Like he said he was the Watcher, and I believed him, but I don't know.
It's kind of like you have the voice in your head, you know, like when you're reading stuff and it doesn't match up, and also things don't match up because, you know, like I would always call him the submariner. I didn't know that he was called the Submariner until like I heard it on the cartoon, and I'm like, wait, that's not. He's like a sandwich, right? Submariner, like he's a marine. Mariner. Yeah. What is that?
John Cena was a submariner.
Was he?
You see what I did? I brought it back to that.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm done here. Dunzos. Okay. Well, with the ink parts. Here, let's see. Let's see what it looks like. I'm going to show it to you. No.
Wow, that's fantastic.
No, reveal.
Num.
It's going to be colors. It's going to be colors at some point.
I like it.
It's going to be colors.
Wow, you drew that from nothing. It was a blank piece of paper.
Blank piece of paper.
You made it come to life, Franco.
Then I got to put colors on it at some point. I have a stack of stuff that I've drawn that I haven't finished.
Ain't that the way?
Always. Do you have a stack of stuff that you never finished drawing?
Yeah, I used to do this webcomic called Detective Boogaloo Hip Hop Shop.
Right.
For Kevin Smith back in the day. And I have this poster I had been drawing for it, like kind of like with Buscema heads all around it, floating around it. And I have yet to finish inking that thing. And I pull it out like every couple of years, and I just don't get much further with it. So yeah, I have a stack.
Right. Well, people will bring up and I've tried to bring them back a couple of times. Like, you know, like I did one of the first comics I did when I started doing cartoony stuff was Weirdsville. Mm-hmm. And I've gone back and tried to do a couple of, you know, other stories, and I have tons of stuff that I've written that I haven't drawn. There's tons of stuff that I've written and drawn but haven't finished and probably never will. You know, again, it goes back to the notebook thing where I have all these different notebooks with ideas all over the place that I'll never get to ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's it's almost like Facebook limbo, like those people that try to friend you and you just don't respond.
Right.
That's where the art lives.
Mm-hmm. Wayne's looking stuff up.
Oh, no, I got something. This is the Watcher from the Fantastic Four cartoon.
Oh. Yeah, see, that's what he should have sounded like.
Oh, that's creeping me out.
Yeah, they have the evolution of the Watcher. Oh, that's just a video game.
Video game, yeah. Interesting. Any other comments or anything while we're up there?
1 minute. Jay Robert would like to know, did we want to play import cartoon or porn?
I think we kind of did.
Kind of. Well, we brought up the Littlest Hobo that no one knew but me, or Skippy the Kangaroo.
Both of those could work as either cartoons or porn.
Yeah. D. Brad would like to know, what kind of markers will you use, Franco?
Probably a combination of Copic and what are these? Usually I work Prismacolors and Copics and Prismacolor color pencils. most likely. And watercolors and acrylic paint sometimes. So you never know. Just whatever fills the need, you know.
And Jay Robert would like to know, Franco, will we see you at KLC in Baltimore?
Yes. Well, let me put that in a in a different way. Yes, possibly, maybe, depending on what happens in the world. But I'm committed to be there. How about you, Jamar? Are you going to be over at Baltimore, or you can't see yourself in shows?
No, yeah, I'm in the same boat you were in. I am a yes, unless the world takes a left turn.
Right. Yeah.
And the same with me.
Yeah, you'll be at Baltimore as well. That's right. And I'm scheduled to be at New York, and that's the one that kind of freaks me out a little bit, but we'll see.
Oh, just to back me up, fellow Canadian D. Brad says he remembers the Littlest Hobo.
As a cartoon or porn?
As porn, I believe.
That came in the big box. The old stuff.
Right. Very cool. Anybody else out there? That was it on
That's
comments?
it.
Awesome. Well, a lot of people rewatch this stuff, so why don't we tell them what we're where we can find more Jamar stuff?
Okay, is that my cue?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Franco. If you want to see more of me, you can go check out my gram. You can hit me up on the gram at jamar.nicholas. I'm blue checked on Twitter. I don't use it enough, but that's all one word, Jamar Nicholas. Or you can join my Patreon, Jamar Nicholas. And we do lots of fun stuff. Come ride the wave.
And you can find all this stuff. You can follow him if you see the banner below. You could follow his Instagram and his Twitter, and you can get to both of those places, and you can find out all about Jamar. And you can buy his books.
That's
get his
right.
books as
That's
well.
Right.
So,
you know. Cop all of that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. It was lots of fun. I had fun. You had fun. Hopefully, we all had fun. Wayne, not as much fun, but he had fun.
Like, yeah, we've been talking so long. Wayne's room went from lit to dark and then lit again.
Yeah.
Well, because the sun set and rose and set. It's a different time out there in Vegas.
Yeah, the meridians changed while we were talking. That's fantastic.
It's a big flashing sign from the Kenny Rogers roaster right outside of his hotel.
Kenny?
That's so great. Well, yeah, guys, thanks so much for having me on. This was a great way to spend a Friday evening. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming on, and glad we got to talk about some stuff. Sometimes we don't even get to the topic. Wayne and I may be back next week. We have no idea if
it's whether or not I'm back in my country or in some CDC quarantine zone.
We don't know. We're hoping for the best. We're hoping we're going to get you back to Canada safe and sound.
Jeez, you're not the only one.
Yeah. And just whether or not I'll be here next week it's always a guess. We never know. We have no rhyme or reason or any schedule to this show. So to the two people that are out there watching, thank you very much. We get a lot of people watching on reruns and on YouTube and on my Patreon and stuff like that. So thank you to all of you. And I appreciate you. Be safe out there.